Righto. Okay. Yep. There we go. Okie dokie. All right. So we're here with our mentor and coach Chelsea,
and we're going to have a little discussion about fear.
Yeah. How fear? Yeah. So, all right. So basically, yeah, everyone encounters fear in life with all sorts of things. So basically, how your perspective on fear and how has it actually affected you in the past or still or whatever the case may be?
Well, I guess the thing to remember is fear is an emotion. Like, it's something everyone gets, and fear, it's normal, like, and it presents itself so differently in different people depending on what they're faced with in life. In the past, fear has actually presented itself as anxiety in me. So fear has presented as anxiety, nausea, irritation, but then back then I didn't realize I was actually fearful of what was going on with my life at the moment and decisions I had to make. So I really just worked on trying to overcome that and not allowing that fear in that moment to dictate my decision on what it was I was trying to decide on at the time. So in terms of this business especially, and I say this to people like I did on my page the other day, it's just normal, and it's just the wall that people we put up to protect ourselves. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Definitely. And a lot of people seem to have one of the biggest fears they seem to have, which we've encountered, and it's the fear of failure. And
yeah,
like, I think we've all been through that. But one thing I know we've learnt, and more than likely yourself too, that as like the fear failure is that failure isn't something to actually be fearful of. It's actually something to probably more so embrace, because it's actually a pathways to success, and that because it's a learning curve.
Sure.
Mm.
You know, like the more
100%.
If you fail, you learn from your mistakes.
Right.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, exactly. And people, that's again that wall of coming up to protect them is people don't want to feel failure. Like, you just don't want to feel that, because they want to protect themselves from everything that comes with that feeling of failure. So they put that wall up to make sure that they're not going to have those emotions, they're not going to have those feelings. And fear of failure is a really normal, common thing to have. And like you said, you know, failure is actually part of the process. It's all part of learning and growing as a person.
No, what did I say? Fail is our first attempt in learning. So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's your first attempt.
Yeah.
There's no successful entrepreneurs or anyone on this planet who hasn't failed a million times and come out the other end successful. It's all part of the process.
That's it. A lot of very successful people have failed multiple times, and you shouldn't look at it as a failure. It should be looking at what can I do to improve on that last attempt, and you just keep improving. And like a lot of people are fearful of that, and it's sort of sorry.
How long did it take you? Did you have fear before you come into this business? Did you uncertain? How long did you sit?
There were so many things that was going on in my mind at the time, and I was scared of the unknown. I was scared of change. I was scared of leaving my comfort zone. I was scared of social media, like you name it. I was just in my comfort zone at the time. When I got started, I was in a totally different place in my life. So I was scared of all of the unknowns. And I just realized that if I stayed doing what I was doing, nothing was going to change. And only I was able to make that change and see what I could do. Because I've done a lot, and I know that when I put my head down and I focus on something, I can achieve massive things. So I just pushed through. And like I said, that showed itself as anxiety and irritation in me at the time. And I knew that what it was just this guard that I was protecting myself, and I just pushed through. And I had, everyone's support. And that was a massive thing, is having people around you who are cheering you on and saying, you've got this, it's okay. What's the worst that can happen? That's another thing is, like Brent said the other day, ask yourself in every situation, what is the worst that can happen? Because then it's helping you realize that actually it's not a big deal. It's really not. And it could change your life.
No, that's it.
Yeah.
So you would agree that the support that we have from other people within this business is like a comforting part for the fear. Like it helps take away that fear, because
It does.
it does. I believe it does.
I reckon it does, yeah.
So yeah, like you'd agree with that for sure, wouldn't you?
Oh, 100%. Like, when you look at the support, like, we're on calls, feels like every day. Like, I know everyone in this business, sometimes closer than my own, tribe and my family. Like, and that is really reassuring to know there's so many people on the same journey, that's still working towards the same or similar goals, and that they are actually achieving them. And when you see how massive that can be, that helps bring that fear down. You realize I can breathe. It's safe. This is a safe environment. I'm fully protected and supported and backed by so many people, and that's a really reassuring thing.
No, definitely.
Yeah. I know when I was looking and I seen your posts in that, and I seen a few of the others, and I kept watching and I kept flicking. I kept going into your Facebook pages, and then I think I got through a fair bit of stalking, yeah. And then I told you about it eventually. I think I had a Zoom with Chelsea before I actually fully told you what I was sort of looking at.
Yeah, sort of told me bits and pieces. Probably a bit fearful of what my reaction might be.
What his reaction would be, yeah.
But I think
there's the thing, there's so many people who are scared. What's my spouse going to think? But
he said go for it. And
my reaction sort of surprised her, because I just said, yeah, well, go for it. What have we got to lose? That's what you just said before. What have we got to lose? At the end of the day, what I said, all you got to lose is a bit of time for a start, and then maybe, when she explained that, the cost, any costs involved, there's a little bit of, so what? It's only a little bit, like, and look, we don't regret it at all.
No way.
No, it's amazing. It can change your life, and if you just drop the fear that comes with having to spend some money investing in yourself, having to actually work at something, having to see the bigger picture, that there's two options here, and you can go and you can work for someone else for the rest of your life for an 80-cent pay rise per year and spend money on daycare and childcare and be away from your family, which is what 90% of the population do, or you can go and build the beast of a business that this is, and that we know this is, and work towards everything.
The way I see it, today's age, we're going online with everything anyway. Like, hell, you can do your grocery shopping online and just go in and pick it up now. So
exactly.
There's many things. Everything's moving to the online, but there's still this fear
of the unknown
of working. You can't work online. You can't do this. You can't do that. There's still that major fear that people just can't get over.
Like, reality check, when you look through the news, you watch the news, you read the news, you'll see there are retailers getting shut down left, right and centre. No one goes into shops and buys clothes. Massive retailers, places I shop at, boom, gone, boom, gone. You look at jobs, like my previous job in the medical field, jobs were becoming automated. They will find a replacement for every single job. It's a matter of time. The online space is where it's at, and it is scary, because when you hear online, you think the worst until you come across something like this and you actually give it a go and you see that this is legitimate, and you realize what was I actually scared of in the first place.
That's it.
Yeah,
as you say, like, more and more of them are actually shutting down and doing their business online. I remember in our local area, there was a business probably 10, 12 years ago. They actually shut their doors and moved completely to online, because it was starting to pick up that, like, on the online then, and they were finding they were doing more business online. It was costing them too much to just keep their bricks and mortar business open.
Too many overheads.
That's it. And at least with something on the online, you don't have those overheads, so you haven't got those fears and worries of, where am I going to come up with next month's rent, or next month's electricity for the business, and all this sort of stuff, or next month's stock inventory, So
no, this is great. All from the comfort of your own home, or if you're on a holiday, you can do it anywhere. So.
Exactly, that's the thing. Like, with working a 9 to 5 or working a brick and mortar business, you're stuck. You can't really move. You've got to wait for approval for anything. You've got to wait for approval to go to the toilet if you want. You've got to wait for approval for annual leave. You go by someone else's, approval for everything. You work online, you literally pack up and go wherever you want. If you got a cell phone, you got one of these things, you got one of these, you're set. You pick it up, you go, and then you get into the business, you say, okay, I can replace my income. Okay, this works. This is good. And that fear starts coming down one bit at a time.
You get to make new friends, meet people, and that's been amazing. Like,
isn't it?
Out of my comfort
zone. I was meeting you guys the other week. That was so cool. Finally, up in Queensland.
After 12 months or so,
Finally got to meet you.
And that's the thing, like, it helps you get away from those fears and out of that comfort zone, and it's great. It's fantastic. So one thing I do want to ask, and we're going to want to ask the same thing to this one particular question, everyone. What was your line in the sand moment where you went from being fearful to not?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Because there would have been that line in the sand moment, because you wouldn't be fearing as like you would have been once before. So, yeah.
I actually didn't fence sit for very long.
Yep.
And I actually have very strong intuition. So when my gut tells me something's not right, I won't do it. And when my gut's telling me something's okay, I'll give it a go. So I remember that I had a shift at work, and it was not even bearable, the thought of going back.
Yep.
And I was heavily pregnant at the time, and I sat in my car. I remember I walked to my car, I sat in my car, and I was crying, and I messaged Molly. And I said to her, I'm in. I can't do this anymore. I get goosebumps thinking about it because I can't imagine going back. So that was my line in the sand moment. And I've just built my family into freedom.
Yep.
Oh,
yeah.
Awesome.
That was it.
That's very good. So,
what about you guys? What was your line in the sand moment?
Well, for you?
I was on maternity leave, and it's the thought of going back to work, having to put McKenna in daycare, and I just didn't want to do it because I did daycare with my two boys. I'm not a fan of it. I prefer to have them at home with me, but my maternity leave was slowly. I was probably 3 or 4 months in, 4 months, but it just felt like it was going so quick. It was going to get away from me. And I thought, nah, I've got to find something. I'd been sort of looking for a while, and then I thought, nah, all in, just got to do it. It's sort of, for me, one day it was just like, yep, today's the day. And I'd sort of talked to you, and I said, yep, we're in.
No, that's mine. I guess mine was similar, but being on workers' comp throughout pretty much all the time Kat was pregnant, and then throughout McKenna's first 2 years. Just being there throughout that pregnancy, and then being there around her nearly every day. I missed out on a lot of that with my older kids, and I didn't want to miss out on that with her. I was enjoying it, and my employer was giving me a lot of grief too over this, and I didn't want to go back to them. So, but I guess that was mine too, like the fact that I was getting to actually spend time with my baby. So,
we're actually real young parents. Like, we're on the older side of being new parents again. So
speak for yourself, lady, 22. As you can tell by my grey, I'm touching 50 next month. But
we're later in life again, second time round parents sort of thing. And, we missed out on a lot with our older kids and that, and not this time.
No.
And that's the thing with fear, sometimes you put it into like perspective, and you go, what's scarier, the idea of doing something new in this new journey, or the idea of missing my kids' milestones?
Absolutely, that's it.
That's
and
it.
yeah, once you start missing out on those milestones, you just
Can't get them back.
no, you can't, and you start looking, wishing you could do something to have them. And this is a perfect thing to be able to work towards getting, like being there for all those milestones.
Yeah.
And not doing it before it's too late, you know,
Exactly.
waiting until the kids start in school and going, oh, I better do something about it. They're
That's
going into
right.
school.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's
Yeah.
exactly it. So, all right. Anything else you want to touch on that subject?
No, I
No?
think we've covered a fair bit.
Awesome.
Yep. Oh.
Very good.
Good chat. Thanks for that, guys.
No, that's all right. No, thank you very much. And yeah, I hope this actually brings value to the
Everyone.
people who see it. So that's what it's all aimed at. Explain the fact that what, you know, as far as fear, everyone, it's a reality. Everyone goes through it, and it is overcomable.
Yep.
If that's a word. I don't
You
even
can
know.
overcome it. Yeah,
Now,
you can overcome it.
Yeah. So there are ways around it, and that's the great thing with this community is we're all here to help and help everyone achieve.
overwhelming support.
It is. It's
Friendly people, amazing culture. You can't possibly feel scared when you come into the culture, when you see what it's about. It's amazing.
No, it is unbelievable. It's not, it shouldn't say unbelievable because that's probably not the right phrase. It's awesome. It's amazing. Yeah. So,
Yep.
all right. Well, thank you very much for that, Chelsea. We appreciate that. Awesome.
Awesome.
Catch you
Good
next
chat,
time.
guys.
Bye.
See ya.